Hello, welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another Rev review. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite ergonomic brands that I use for bike fitting and also for just giving a rider more comfortable positions to ride their bike. That could be their insoles for your shoes. That could be the saddles, which I did a review earlier on a different video. And now, for the first time ever, they have a handlebar for the road. So before we get going, if you would please subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate it. We've got about 370 subscribers at the end of June, and I'd really love to get to the 500 subscriber benchmark. And, of course, hit that notification bell so you know when I've released another video. Okay, so let's talk about SQ Labs, one of my favorite German companies that makes great products, very thought out products. And in particular today, we're going to talk about the 312R handlebar. Now, this handlebar was supposed to be available in May of 2021. Wasn't available until June. I had my eye out for it. And I'm one of the first 6 people to have one. And I basically bought it on blind faith just because I have been using their products for the last 8 years, in particular saddles, but also their insoles. And just about everything they make has been really well received with my customers. I've used their mountain bike handlebars. I have used their grips, their mountain bike grips. And, so just about every product I've gotten from them has been a very high quality product and engineered with ergonomics at the forefront of everything. Now you would say, sure, shouldn't everything be? Well, yeah, not so much. So I was really excited about this bar. So we're going to break into this packaging, and it comes with its own carbon paste because this is a carbon handlebar, and it comes with this webbing here, which we are going to remove. And one thing that is important to note is that this bar is designed with a flat top. And so if you're someone who is a weight weenie, then, and if you don't understand the term, this is someone who obsesses about every gram and every component has to be super light. And if it's not below a certain benchmark or threshold, they don't even want to talk about it. This is not a weight weenies bar. This is a carbon handlebar. This has a flat top, so more material adds more weight. They claim that these bars start out at the 38 centimeter width at 235 grams, and then they go up from there. I ride a 42 bar. I used to ride a 44 bar, but it's getting harder and harder to find 44 bars. For example, this bar only comes in 38, 40, and 42. Now, I'm a pretty narrow shoulder kind of guy. You could see how the bar's made up there, okay? And different angles for you to look at it. I just have always liked wider bars. There is a very annoying trend right now with the pro cyclists that they are riding these tiny bars. I don't know, 30 centimeters or something like that. It just looks ridiculous. I think that most people watching this channel are not worried about an extra couple of kilometers an hour that you might be able to go, because now you're riding these handlebars that are super narrow, and the bike is very twitchy and it handles like crap. So I think if you watch professional cycling, you'll see some folks that are doing these really narrow bars or turning the shifters in. Okay, let's end that rant because I think it's a silly trend. Generally speaking, you want the bar to be as wide as from acromion here to the acromion on the other side, which incidentally I crashed and broke that scapula and ribs, a video for another time. But this handlebar has a nice, let me put it this way so you can see it a little bit better. So it starts off with like a 10-degree sweep this way, and then it reduces down to about 2 degrees of sweep. It has what they call is just a really good grip area here. We will find that out. It has a nice area to grip the bottom of the bar. So you can see that there. Also, it has a shallow drop. So a lot of my customers, they don't need the long, deep drop of bars. They barely ride in the drops anyway, right? So we want a bar where you can access the drops, which, by the way, is the most important part of this whole handlebar, is the drops. That's where you get the most stability. If you're descending, if you're climbing, if you're sprinting. I climb out of the saddle a lot on steep grades here, and I do grab the drops of the bar. Your mileage may vary. That may not be your favorite position, but when you're going up a 20+% grade, that's where I grab. And I have the most stability on my bike at 3 miles an hour. But anyway, that drop doesn't seem all that. It's fairly shallow, and when I do bike fits, I try to work with that customer to try to get their position so that the drops of the bars are very useful, very approachable. They're at a point where the customer looks at it and says, I want to be in there because that's where I'm most stable on the bike. I get a lot of bike fits here where the people tell me they don't ever get in the drops, and so we fixed that. So let's get back to this bar. I'm pretty excited about this bar. I'm going to put it on my bike. Today's Thursday. I'm going to try to put it on the bike either tonight or tomorrow, Friday, and then go out and ride it on Saturdays. In the description below, you will see my Strava profile. I try to get out every Saturday and get a good ride in, anywhere from 100 miles to 100 plus, and usually about 10,000 feet of climbing. So it also has, I just felt it, it also has a nice shape here, and that may be hard to see, but I'll hold that there and hopefully the camera will focus. And it's flattened out, and it's got a nice, it feels really ergonomic, and I'm just pretty excited about trying this bar out. I have almost always ridden a round bar. There are a few times I've ridden a flat top bar, but when I built my Bianchi XR4, it's got that Vision one-piece stem and bar, and it's fairly flat here. I really enjoyed it, and I really got used to riding a flat bar. And so now I tend to look at bars like this for ergonomics. And if you look at my hand here, the way it's placed, and I'm a little bit twisted, but it won't create a pressure point in one spot only. You have an opportunity here to grab the bar with a nice flat part of your hand, and I think that's going to be really comfortable. It's bigger than the bar that's on my bike now. This part here is wider than the bar I'm riding right now. So we'll find out. And like most things, I test the products that I bring into the store. I then have a personal experience from which to speak to my customers about and say, I use this bar, I like this bar, or hey, I tried that bar, it didn't work for me. Maybe it works for you, but here are some things that you should consider. And when you're able to speak to a customer about a product from personal experience, I think it helps the customer find confidence in your recommendations. So that's why I order a lot of products into the store, try them out. And in this case, now that I'm trying to build a YouTube channel, I am able to share this information with you as well, since you're not coming into the store. And hopefully these types of videos, which I create for you, give you exposure to new products or new methodologies. For example, when we were doing the cleat installations or service and maintenance on bikes. And in this case, a different choice of handlebar that maybe you had not considered. So what I'd like to know is, leave a comment below, what type of bar do you ride? Do you ride a round bar, or do you ride a flat top bar? Do you ride an aerodynamic bar? This is more of a cross between a flat bar and an aerodynamic bar, because as you can see, it's a fairly thick bar. So they didn't go after aerodynamics, they went after comfort for long rides is a relative term for many people. A long ride may be 50 to 75 miles or even 35 miles, whereas for me a long ride is anything over 100. So this is something I'm looking forward to trying out. Okay, that's all for today. I do appreciate everyone who has subscribed to the channel. If you haven't yet, please do. Please support the channel. That helps get the algorithm up. The liking and the subscribing and all that stuff shows YouTube that there's relevant content here that we need to share with our viewers. Thank you for watching, and we will see you up the road.